Arnold Schwarzenegger just blew up daytime TV. And now Whoopi Goldberg is scrambling, trying to get Disney to sweep up the wreckage. The fallout is wild. This wasn't just a little awkward moment. This was a full-blown meltdown caught in 4K. Arnold didn't just stroll into the view. He straight up marched into enemy territory and faced Whoopi, Joy Behar, and Sunny Hostin without blinking. And then, he burned their whole script to ashes live in front of the entire country. This wasn't a debate. It was a demolition. Now they're panicking behind the scenes, pretending it never happened. But the internet doesn't forget. America saw every second, and they know we saw it too. No amount of spin can undo that live explosion. This appearance was supposed to be routine. Soft questions, polite smiles, a couple of cheap jabs at Trump, then wrap it up with claps and fake laughter. That's how it usually goes. A Hollywood celebrity drops by, plays it safe, keeps it scripted. But Arnold, he wasn't there to play nice. He showed up with backbone and, yep, a brain that actually thinks. That's when the chaos hit like a freight train. Let's break it down. The producers probably thought he was a safe pick. He's criticized Trump before, isn't shouting MAGA slogans, and comes from the Hollywood club. They figured he'd fall in line and stick to the script. Wrong. Arnold came in hot and unfiltered, dropping real talk about immigration, owning your choices, and actually respecting the country you moved to. The vibe on set, instantly tense. It went from friendly chat to full-blown showdown in seconds. Don't blink. This saga is only heating up, and if you want the real version, not the sugar-coated Hollywood spin, hit that subscribe button on Fame Feast right now. Arnold dropped just one line, and the whole show cracked like glass. He said, "If you come to America, you're a guest, so act like it." Boom. That was it. One sentence. No yelling, no drama, just raw, plain truth. And the view fell apart right there on live TV. Joy Behar's face, it tightened up like she just bit a lemon. Sunny Hostin blinked like someone hit her with a flashlight. And Whoopi, she froze solid like a laptop stuck on a loading screen. Just staring, stunned, trying to figure out what just happened. Arnold did the one thing guests are never supposed to do. He went off script and actually made sense. No yelling, no finger pointing, just facts delivered calm and clear. And that is what sent them into meltdown mode. Logic on that stage? That's basically a crime. The moment the camera stopped rolling, it got even messier. Word is, Whoopi lost it backstage, like full panic mode. Then came her public statement, and it read like it was typed while pacing in circles. She claimed Arnold's comments were unapproved and shocking. She said they were dangerous. Dangerous? For what? Telling immigrants to show respect. Let's get real. Arnold is an immigrant. He came here legally with nothing but drive and muscle, no handouts, no shortcuts. He built his name brick by brick, bodybuilder, movie legend, then governor. That's what earning it looks like. So why the outrage? Why the meltdown? Because Arnold didn't play the victim. He didn't beg for sympathy. He spoke like a grown man who lived the story. And instead of clapping, they called it a threat. This whole mess proves one thing: if you tell the truth without sugarcoating it, Hollywood can't handle it. Want to stay tapped into this level of realness? Smash that subscribe on Fame Feast. We're just getting started. So now, just for saying that immigrants should respect the laws and culture of the country they moved to, Arnold's getting dragged. Not by some random internet haters, but by The View, Disney, ABC, and the whole Hollywood system. These folks act like America's a hotel lobby and they're the front desk in charge of who can speak. But Whoopi didn't stop at being upset. She launched into this strange, rambling monologue about how innocent immigrants are being deported, then spun it into some wild take that Trump supporters, actual U.S. citizens, should act like guests in their own country. Say what? Let's slow that down. Whoopi Goldberg literally said that Americans, people born and raised here, who pay taxes and follow the rules, should act like they're the ones visiting. Meanwhile, those who cross the border illegally, treated like VIPs. That's not just backwards. That's upside down. We're now in a world where standing up for your country gets you labeled the villain, and asking for basic respect is somehow controversial. It's gotten so wild you'd think this was all scripted. But nope, it's real. And just when you think it couldn't get any more out of pocket, boom, Gavin Newsom enters the chat. Yep, Whoopi actually praised him as the blueprint for handling immigration. You serious? This is the same Gavin Newsom who turned California into chaos, rising homelessness, crime running wild, people leaving the state in record numbers, and she's saying he's the gold standard? That's not bold, that's delusional. But then came the moment that truly exposed everything. Not a word, but a physical reaction. It spoke louder than any headline. The moment everything truly snapped was when Sonny Hostin, clearly panicking, reached out and grabbed Arnold's arm, like a substitute teacher trying to stop a student from blurting out the answers mid-test. You could almost hear the silent scream, "No, Arnold, you're not supposed to say that." That wasn't just awkward, that was a desperate move. It was a dead giveaway that they'd lost control of the room and the narrative. Everything was slipping through their fingers, and they knew it. But here's the wild part. The part that should have everyone shaking their heads. Arnold didn't even say anything extreme. He didn't rant about deportations, he didn't scream for walls to go up, and he definitely didn't throw out any party slogans. No yelling, no insults, no political firebombs. Arnold just said what millions of everyday people already believe. If you come to a new country, do it the right way. Respect the laws, learn the culture, appreciate the people, and above all, contribute. That's it. And that's what triggered the full-on meltdown at the View. That's what made Whoopi, Joy, and Sonny look like the fire alarm had been yanked mid-broadcast. That's what made Disney execs sweat bullets, pacing around wondering how to put the pieces back together. This wasn't just some heated debate on live TV, it was a crack in the system. A rare, raw moment where the usual script got tossed and reality came crashing in. And the fact that something so normal, so basic, could cause such chaos, that tells you everything. Want more real moments like this? Hit that Fame Feast subscribe right now. We've got plenty more coming. What we witnessed wasn't just a viral TV moment. It was something way deeper. We saw a man, an immigrant no less, who lived the American dream. A man who earned every bit of his fame, who served the public, gave back to the country that gave him a shot, suddenly attacked just for saying what's obvious to most people. Why? Because he didn't follow the script, because he didn't bow to their narrative, because he dared to say on their turf what regular Americans have been thinking for years. Now here's where it hits hard. The View isn't really a talk show anymore. Let's be real. It's not journalism, it's not honest debate, it's not even entertaining. It's a stage play. A scripted drama dressed up as daytime TV where rich celebrities sit around pretending to be victims, sipping overpriced coffee from $200 mugs while lecturing everyone else from their studio throne. It's not about truth, it's about control. It's about keeping the show polished and the message in check. And if someone comes in, not angry, not political, just real, and speaks with honesty and guts, that system breaks. Arnold didn't yell. He didn't come to fight. He came to be real. And that alone was enough to make the whole machine glitch. Because truth isn't welcome there. Only agreement is. The second he unplugged the script and said, "Hey, maybe we should just be honest for once," it all collapsed. Total system failure. The illusion shattered. The polished surface cracked wide open. Behind the lights, applause signs, and forced smiles was nothing but a hollow shell. And if that shook them this badly, imagine what would happen if more people started doing the same. This is a show that hasn't had a fresh thought in years. The moment someone walks in with a real opinion, it falls apart like a house of cards in a windstorm. And the backlash? Oh, it was immediate. Social media exploded. Clips of Arnold speaking truth hit the internet like a spark to dry brush. It spread fast. But here's the twist. Arnold wasn't trending for some scandal. He wasn't caught saying something offensive. He was trending for one simple reason, because he told the truth. Even folks who don't usually vibe with Arnold were standing and clapping. Why? Because this wasn't about right or left. It wasn't politics. It was about real versus fake. About truth versus performance. About someone finally standing up and saying what so many are thinking without fear. And while the internet lit up, the suits behind the scenes went into panic mode. A BC scrambled. Disney freaked out. You better believe there were emergency Zoom calls flying around. PR teams were typing like their careers depended on it, because they did. Whoopi tried to clean it up with a shaky monologue. Joy sat there nodding like a bobblehead glued to her chair. Sonny? She acted like nothing ever happened. Like if she just smiled hard enough, we'd all forget. But here's the thing. We won't, because we saw it. And we remember it. ABC wants you to forget. Disney wants you to scroll right past it. They'd love to toss that clip into the memory hole, pretend it never aired. But nah, that moment hit different. Arnold didn't just push back on one question. He cracked the whole system. He showed how desperate they are to stay in control, how scared they are of even one voice going off script. And now, the machine is glitching hard. The audience is waking up. People are starting to see it. And the ripple effect is already rolling. The more they try to spin Arnold's words, the more they try to clarify or contextualize, the more they try to downplay, distract, or deflect, the clearer it gets. They're scared. Scared of losing control, scared of people thinking for themselves, scared of someone, anyone, stepping off the approved script and saying something real. So let's run it back. Louder this time. Thank you, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Thank you for saying what almost no one else in Hollywood dares to. Thank you for showing the world that yes, someone in that bubble still has a spine. Thank you for reminding everyone that immigration isn't the issue. Illegal immigration is. That respecting the rules and the country you move to should not be controversial. Thank you for proving that common sense isn't gone. It's just being buried under noise and fake outrage. And shame, yes, real shame, on Whoopi Goldberg. Shame on Joy Behar. Shame on Sunny Hostin. Shame on ABC. Shame on Disney for twisting a moment of honesty into some kind of national emergency. They turned calm truth into a scandal. They turned basic logic into a crisis. They turned a guest with integrity into the villain of the week. But here's the thing. The public saw it. We saw it. And you can't unsee the truth. So for everyone out there watching, remember this. When you speak the truth, they'll try to shut you down. They'll twist your words. They'll cancel you, laugh at you, label you. But in the end, truth always survives. And that's why we do this. If you're here for the truth they wish would disappear, hit subscribe on Fame Feast and stick with us. The fire's only getting hotter. And now the damage control is turning into desperation. Behind the scenes, execs are scrambling like the spotlight's about to hit them. Producers are quietly trying to adjust the format. Insiders are leaking whispers about keeping future guests on a tighter leash. And ABC is reviewing the segment like it was a security breach. But guess what? It's too late. The truth already escaped the studio. And it's out here now. People aren't buying the spin anymore. They're tired of watching millionaires act shocked every time someone says something grounded in reality. They're sick of being told what to think by folks who live behind gates and ride around in private cars. Arnold didn't just shake up a show. He cracked the system wide open. And the timing couldn't be worse for them. More Americans than ever are asking questions, waking up, paying attention. And the last thing the media machine wants is a well-known Hollywood name giving people permission to trust their gut. This is why they're nervous. Because when someone like Arnold, who played by the rules, who made it big, who served in office, steps up and says what millions are thinking, that's a problem for them. That disrupts their comfort zone. They need the audience silent, distracted, and scared to speak out. But now, the opposite is happening. People are talking, people are thinking, and most of all, people are remembering. So here's the deal. If one voice can rattle the system this hard, imagine what happens when millions of voices echo the same truth. It's not about politics anymore, though it's about reality versus illusion. And reality just walked into the room, and now the ripple is turning into a wave. You've got influencers, podcasters, even celebs who normally stay silent, finally speaking up. People who usually play it safe are reposting Arnold's clip, dropping captions like, "He said what we've all been thinking," and finally some truth on TV. That's how you know it hit deep. This wasn't just some viral moment. This was a crack in the Hollywood mask, a moment where the polished smile slipped and the fake unity shattered. For once, the curtain got pulled back and we saw the panic in real time, and the industry tried to handle it the usual way and with silence, spin, and carefully worded press statements, but none of it stuck. None of it worked, because this time the moment was too raw to bury. You can't erase what's already burned into people's minds. That look on Sonny's face, Whoopi freezing, Joy spiraling, Arnold staying calm. It's all there, replayed, reshared, rewatched millions of times. And now people are seeing the bigger picture. They're realizing this isn't about one opinion or one celebrity. It's about control, and the fear that comes when that control slips for even 1 second. Arnold didn't come in throwing punches. He just told the truth with no filter. And that alone sent the whole system scrambling like it was under attack. Think about that. If honesty from one guest causes full-on panic in corporate boardrooms, what does that say about the truth they're trying to hide? So don't let them rewrite history. Don't let them bury what happened. Keep the clip alive, keep the conversation going. And if you're ready for more moments that shake the system, smash that Fame Feast subscribe. And because when truth breaks through the noise, the whole world hears it. And while the media tries to pretend this moment was just a blip, something to move past and forget, the people aren't letting it slide. You can feel it in the comment sections. You can see it in the reaction videos. You can hear it on podcasts, in barbershops, on street corners. The vibe has shifted. Arnold didn't just speak. He cracked something open. He reminded people that it's still okay to use your own brain. And now that spark is catching. They want it to go away quietly. They want to bury it under a dozen headlines about nothing. But this isn't fading, it's building. Because when truth gets suppressed, people push back harder. And the elites, they're shook. They're used to full control. Guests that smile, agree, and walk away. But Arnold flipped the script. He walked in, told the truth, and walked out with the public behind him. Now the pressure's on them. How do you stop something that's already out in the wild? You can't. You just throw distractions and hope people forget. But we're not forgetting. This wasn't about one man speaking out. It was about a system that cracked when truth walked in the room, and now they're exposed. So if you're feeling it too, if you're tired of the spin, tired of being talked down to, tired of the same script on every channel, then you already know what comes next. Producers are whispering about adding guest filters, limiting live airtime, and boosting delay buffers, all to make sure this never happens again. They're not trying to create honest TV. They're trying to control it down to the second. And why? Because one man walked in with no script and said something real. That's all it took. That's how fragile the whole setup is. They act powerful. But the second someone brings real energy, real conviction, the whole thing shakes. Arnold didn't just speak facts. He exposed fear. Their fear. Fear of truth. Fear of normal people asking questions. Fear that the fake applause and edited monologues aren't enough anymore. You could feel the panic the moment it aired. Not because he was offensive, but because he was calm, clear, and honest. That scares them more than any headline ever could. Now they're watching every guest twice, rewriting show formats, holding extra meetings, because deep down, they know something slipped and it can't be put back. But here's the twist. This isn't just about one show anymore. This is bigger. This is about whether truth still has a place on mainstream platforms, whether voices that speak common sense can still be heard without being crushed. And if they're scared of that, then maybe it's time we get louder. Because this moment, it wasn't an accident. It was a signal. And what comes next depends on us. Stick with Fame Feast, because we're not just telling stories anymore. We're keeping the system honest, one busted narrative at a time. Truth doesn't vanish, it spreads. Once it's out, it sticks. And as long as Fame Feast is breathing, we're gonna keep that fire alive. We're here to say what they're too scared to touch. We'll shine a light on what they try to bury. And no, we're not backing down. Not for them, not for the cameras, not for anybody. They can try to cancel people like Arnold. They can try to silence voices like yours, but we're still talking. Louder than ever. Now drop it in the comments. Did Arnold actually go too far? Or did he finally say what we've all been yelling at our screens for years? And that Whoopi moment, was that real emotion? Or just another Hollywood performance? You know, badly acted, overproduced, and dripping with fake tears and forced drama? Because if you're done with the lies, if you're over the fake rage, the fake empathy, and the media spin they call news, then this is your crew. Stay sharp. Stay vocal. Stay real. Because the truth, it's not going anywhere, and neither are we.